We're going to be starting in about 3 or 4 minutes.
The whole reason for doing the quiz was it was you know, like you see these chef programs, and the more I realized, when you go to nice restaurants, their big thing is they've liberated a peasant dish. You know, the best cooking is peasant cooking because it tastes the best and everything like that, but the way they finesse and liberate it. So years and years of watching that and everything, and seeing Gordon Ramsay finessing, and you think, why don't I finesse something that's like a load of shit? And the worst thing that was going when I started doing things was some old bloke at a pub quiz doing these things that last 4 hours, and at 11:45 at night you still don't know who the fuck's won the quiz.
Pens have been stolen freshly from Ladbrokes. All pensioners in now there. There's no youngins, is there? Question number 1.
I got this job at Magnolia Pub to do a quiz. The nearest thing I had in my head is to do something similar to what my dad did on radio shows. That I used to listen to a lot of radio at the time, and you know, Steve Wright and obviously Chris Moyles was coming up at the time, and one of the things that they did was populate your audio perception with a lot of sound. There's zoo style radio, they're always connecting with people, always talking, but there's always a sound bed. And so it immediately occurred to me, one of the things is to have an underlying bed of sound. So every round is set up, it was originally set up to frame in the most simple way, like the movie Round, the Pearl and Dean music. So they're iconic little ones like that. But then as I kept doing them, I've been doing them for 15, 16 years. So as I kept doing them, I got bored of, you know, starting off the same way, then the second track. But then I suddenly started getting different flavors of rather than hear what I was asking people, listen to the overall as well. And so one of the big things I used to sell is that even if people aren't playing the quiz when I was down in London, you know, you can still come in the bar and still enjoy yourself because I'm going to play something that's fun. It's now developed its own thing where I don't know, it's very funky, and I look forward to hearing the different tracks and things like that, but also the tracks that I know give it an identity as well.
We're going to have a lovely break, get some drinks in, go out for a cigarette, do whatever you need to do in the toilet. We'll see you in the second half. I will pass you round a picture round. We'll see you in the second half.
None of this is natural. That's what's amazing. It looks like it's been here hundreds of thousands of years or whatever. It wasn't. He redirected the river. Everything has been, you know, curated. There's trees here that you wouldn't naturally get, and it's always a surprise, and that's what comedy should be. Before, I think when I was younger, there was the pressure, and I wanted to, you know, more industry type thing, and I wanted to, you know, I want to do this and that and the other. But then as life sort of happens, you've got to find fulfillment and decide, do I want to be doing this? Because if I'm getting paid to do it and I'm unhappy, it's not the right thing to do. But if you love what you do and you do it for nothing, that's the magic point. And I think the audience needs to know that. This is Lord Armstrong's banqueting hall, and it's a big part of my life as a kid, because I went for a walk pretty much every day with my dad when I was about 3 or 4 years old. Since then,
and it was here since 1860. It was built by the wonderful architect John Dobson, and I learned about nostrils and castles and horses and lions from the coat of arms that Lord Armstrong put on the side of this banqueting hall. And my little mum and dad used to come here when it was actually functioning back in the day. And it's a sorry thing to see it in a dilapidated state, but still an elegant, beautiful building, an amazing setting.
I may as well be truthful to myself. Before I wasn't. I tried to fit in, and part of when my mum died, I realised I've got no parents really. My dad's not compass mentis enough. I don't have to be what I think they wanted me to be. I think that was a coming of age thing as well, you know. I think a lot of people may have not got where I was coming from as an artist, or may have been more high status, or I don't know what they thought, but I don't think they ever understood where I was coming from. At least now they get an idea a bit more of what's happening on the inside of me. I mean, you don't have to know what the stories are about the objects or whatever, but the colours and things employed and everything like that, it lets you know where my heart is a bit.
Question number 25, final one of this round. How many minutes are there in a rugby league match? How many minutes are there in a rugby league game? This next round is called the Booze and Grub round. Booze and Grub. How many cups of tea on average? How many cups of tea on average are drunk in the United Kingdom per day? I'm going to give you some options. How many single cups of tea are drank in the United Kingdom in a single day? Is this true or false? True or false that the RAF in the Second World War invented the rumour, the myth that carrots help you see in the dark? Is that a myth that was invented by the RAF? True or false?
I burnt out at one point, you know, because you start off with something to say, then if you have a modicum of success, you're selling that story that you were doing, and so your life just becomes traveling to airports, staying in a hotel, and then doing the show, and then whatever happened in between. And so you start to not actually live to invest in those stories, which is why you get comedians, you know, telling outrageous stories and behaving badly, because essentially they've got no true life to live because it's all consuming. So now my balance is much better, you know, dogs, wife, my dad needs me, and so I've got other interests which I never thought I would have outside of comedy, you know, a big interest that I adore doing, which are obsessive but in a healthy way.